All right, so I want to welcome you to this exciting edition of the program. We are doing assessment of what is happening on the Cross River State political landscape with our program, Cross River Decides. Cross River is deciding a few days to the election what it's actually the permutation in Cross River State and how prepared is Cross River State for the 2023 general elections. I have here with me a critical stakeholder who is a leader, one of the critical leaders of the Cross River State political landscaping, and of course the leader of the Central Senatorial District. I want to get from him what he thinks about the campaign so far, and of course what else we need to do as we navigate towards the elections. I have here with me Senator Victor NDOMA EGBA, the former Senate leader. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Beatrice.
All right, sir, I want to get your opinion because I'm sure you must have been following internationally what is happening in Cross River State. And then, of course, a few days in the elections. What would you say about the campaigns of the APC so far?
Well, maybe we need a little background to the political architecture of Cross River State. You know, there has been this talk about Cross River being a PDP state. That may have been so, but I think it's ancient histories in the past. It was so because both the government and the people were PDP. And now we have a government that is APC. And I think that the elections on February 23rd, 25th, and May 11th will just be a confirmation whether the people moved with the government. So it's just going to be a confirmation.
Okay.
From what I've seen on ground, I've been in Ecom for a couple of days, taking part in the word-to-word campaigns. And my assessment on the ground is that the people have moved with the government,
right.
You know, and that the Cross River State is now APC. February 25th, March 11th will just be mere confirmation of my suspicions.
I like that. All right, so we've seen a situation where all the paramount rulers in the Central have come out boldly to endorse Senator Bassi Ededetu. And then, of course, they've spoken and made it clear that it is not the turn of the Central. And then I want to get your thoughts on that as also as a critical leader. Would you say that all of these people really mean what they're saying?
Well, you see, what is fair, and what is fair and just can be seen by even a blind person, you know, and what is fair and just in our circumstances today is that in our current political episode, which I believe has become permanent, that we are not likely to have any further military intervention. So this is a permanent episode of democracy. We started with the South, with His Excellency Donald Duke, who did 8 years. And then we moved to the Central with Senator Leah Limuke, who did 8 years.
Sure.
And now we are with Senator Ben Ayade from the North, who is completing his 8 years in a couple of months. Now, there has been that argument, and for a moment I was swayed by that argument, that the three senatorial districts were having had a feel of the governorship, you could start anywhere. But looking at it again more critically, we are not that sophisticated to at this point just jump into starting anywhere because the three senatorial districts have had it. The tidiest arrangement and the fairest arrangement in our situation is for us to go back. I mean, it's like the clock is gone around, it's going back to where it started from. So the tidiest arrangement is for us to just go back to the South from where we started. Now, I have had this argument I believe it's an argument out of desperation. But since no other argument is holding water, trying to project an aspiration as an Ejagam aspiration. Okay. First, I thought that with the election of Donald Duke in 1999, we had permanently rested the issue of ethnicity in the politics of Cross River State.
Okay.
So it is regrettable that the issue of ethnicity is once again rearing its head, because I mean the clear understanding amongst us has been a senatorial rotation from senatorial district to senatorial district. But even if we were to have an Ejagam arrangement, you have a substantial Ejagam population in the south, and you had an opportunity to support the emergence of an Ejagam person from the south, which you did not utilize.
Okay.
So that means that projecting an Ejagam argument now can only be self-serving and selfish, for selfish purposes. You know, but for me, the ethnic argument is quite dangerous for our politics. I think it is better and advisable that we stick to the senatorial arrangement that we've been applying for as long as I can remember.
All right, so today we did a 2 local government. And then I know that as part of your word to word, you must have gone to Etung and other places as well. But I want to get your thoughts on the fact that we are heading towards the elections, and we have the people, like you have said, that your suspicion is going to be affirmed on the election day, 25th and 11th of March. Now, for the case of Etung local government, I want to also reiterate this fact, because the primary ruler was very unapologetic about the fact that Etung people are proudly APC. But then we also still have an Etung son who says that he must be governor. So my question to you now is, what do you envisage to see as we navigate towards the elections?
Etung is Ejagam. We are all Ejagam people with different dialectic differences, but we are essentially Ejagam people. And one underlying characteristic of the Ejagam man is a sense of equity. There is a saying amongst us with different nuances, but to the effect that some other person's thing I will not take. Mine, I will not surrender. So we know when something is ours, and when it's ours, we fight to keep it. When it's not ours, we surrender it to the owner. That is the Ejagam virtue. It's an Ejagam thing. What is yours, you fight to protect. What is not yours, you look for the owner and hand it over to the owner.
Okay.
The governorship is not for central, and the tool is in central.
Okay, so can one individual supersede the entire community, or the entire nation, or the entire people?
Well, I haven't seen where that has happened. Like I said, I'm Ejagam. I don't recall us meeting as Ejagam people to say we want a governor. I don't recall being invited to any meeting to discuss our entitlement or to the governorship. No, it has never happened. And don't forget that even during the primaries, you had an Honorable Daniel Asuku.
Sure.
Who is Ejagam from Akampa? If it was an Ejagam agenda, why didn't you support
to emerge
for Daniel Asuku to emerge? So it is the entire people of the Ejagam nation, the entire people of the central, and Etung is central. We know that it is not our turn.
Okay.
No matter how we try to turn the arguments using what I call sophistry, it is not our turn. There is no way you will turn the arguments today to make it sensible and logical that somebody from Central should run for the governorship inclusive. The argument will never hold because there's no basis for such an argument. Okay,
so there's this expression that if you are not sent, you can't go. So since the Ejagam nation has not sent Senator Sanji Ono, can we now say that it can't be governor?
Well, you see, power comes from God.
Okay.
We don't know what God has ordained, but from our mortal understanding, of the situation. It is the turn of the South. And there is a consensus amongst all of us that it is the turn of the South.
So you are saying categorically that EGBA nation is with the South?
We are with every Ejagam man who claims that he is in this race because he is Ejagam should know that it is not the turn of Ejagam anywhere other than the South.
All right, that's interesting. You just heard it from the former leader of the Senate, Senator Victor NDOMA, who is one of the critical stakeholders in the whole of Cross River State and the leader of the central politics. And he has said it categorically that every member of the EGBA nation is in total support of the South, and they're standing firmly with the South. Now, so before we go, I want us to talk about the People First Manifesto of Senator Basiede too. Now, he revealed it on the day of the flag of ceremony and all of that. You unveiled rather officially. What are your thoughts regarding that manifesto?
Well, I was with Senator Tu the day he unveiled the manifesto. I've had the opportunity of reading it. And like the theme says, people first, the whole manifesto, every detail you look at is targeted at people. You know, and enhancing the welfare of the people, enhancing their opportunities, enhancing their access to resources, enhancing their welfare, enhancing their well-being. It's all people-centered. So no matter how you look at it, there are details, yes, there are detailed provisions, but they all come back to one theme, and that theme is the people first.
Okay. So we are also looking at consolidation of the Benadele administration, because government is a continuum. So if he's focusing on the people's first, how about the consolidation agenda? How can he marry two of those critical issues together?
Okay, even today, when he spoke in the flyer in the headquarters of the two local government, he made reference to the cocoa factory in Nikon.
Sure.
That factory is in Nikon. Nikon is my hometown.
Sure.
Even though Central Senatorial District is my political constituency, but the entire state is my constituency, and indeed the entire country. But he made reference to the cocoa factory in Nikon. Now, the cocoa factory cannot be fed by cocoa only from Nikon because of the capacity from of the factory. And you heard him when he said that every year they will encourage new hectareages. I can't remember how much he said now. New hectareages of cocoa. You know, because you need to feed that factory.
Sure.
You know. So when you look at it, it's all, yes, the factory has been built by Governor Ayade. Governor Ayade has a constitutionally limited tenure of 8 years. The factory is on ground. The factory is now a reality. You know, and for that factory to have meaning, it has to be in production.
Sure.
You know, and keeping it in production is now taking it beyond where Governor Ayade left it. Governor Ayade built, another person will ensure that it's in production. And it is taking it from one level to another, that is the sustainability that you are talking about, or the consolidation. So you keep consolidating until we get to a point where you begin to find chocolates or cocoa products or byproducts from the Ecom cocoa factory in supermarkets outside Nigeria.
All right, so finally, before we go, sir, I want you to talk about the projects of the Benadele administration. We heard how the opposition party, one of the opposition party, the PDP, the former governor, Governor Donald Duke, said that Governor Benayade's projects are phantom projects. And he also said they will continue to campaign on the records of Governor Benayade. My first question is, at least there's a cocoa processing factory in Ikom. And then secondly, would you think that is the right thing to do by a former governor saying that his campaign is going to be central to the records of an incumbent governor?
You see, the moment you have occupied public office, you are an accused person before the court of history. You are standing trial before history.
Okay.
Ben Ayade's trial will start when he leaves office.
Okay.
For his predecessors, their trial has already commenced. And I think that sanctimony, this holier than thou thing, will not change the nature of their case. The truth of the matter is that cross civilians are beginning to ask questions. In all these years of the PDP, what are the legacies of PDP? What are those things that you can say endearments from the PDP? What have they left behind that will make us look with nostalgia at the PDP? Or would we rather forget that the PDP ever existed? What are the legacies? We have a huge debt profile from coming from a background of the least indebted states to one of the most highly indebted states. You know, we lost Bakassi. We lost our oil wells. We lost so many things. So what exactly will they be remembered for? So I don't think that they should rush the judgment of history, because they are already accused persons. They are in the dock of history already. You know, when Ben Ayade leaves on the 29th of May, 2023, he too will be put in that dock of history. So you cannot be using revisionism, rewriting your own history and hoping that that will be the history that the people will judge you by. People remember. Records are kept. In this age of social media, everything can be Googled. So, and in any case, an accused person should not be accusing a co-accused, if you know what I mean, because all of you will stand trial before history. So I think that they should just be patient with themselves, not rewrite history. History will write itself.
Sure.
You know.
All right, so that's interesting. So before we go, what would be your message to the people of Cross River State, the electorates out there, as we keep moving towards the elections?
My message to the people of Cross River State is that the APC has come to stay. This is the first time that the people of Cross River State will be having an opportunity to vote, because the governor moved just barely 2 years ago to the APC.
Sure.
Now we have the opportunity to validate that movement into APC by Governor Ben Ayade. And don't forget that we have always said, even the PDP had always said it, that Cross River State is too vulnerable to play opposition politics, that we cannot afford to be in opposition to the government in the center. That argument is still valid till today. We are too vulnerable to be in opposition to the government in the center. And I firmly believe that the APC, in spite of all the shenanigans and all the whatever is being said about it, will still retain power at the center. And there will be gains, and we want to be closer to be part of that gain, the part of the gains of the APC, and be socketed to the center, as we say in local parlance.
Okay. All right, so in the 6 local government, we've done 4, and we have 2 to go. So can you tell us categorically that ECOM is prepared? What is the level of preparedness of your own local government areas ahead of these elections?
You know, ECOM is more or less like the melting pot for everybody. People of ECOM live in ECOM. The Etun elites and intelligentsia live in ECOM.
Sure.
The Boki elites and intelligentsia live in ECOM.
Sure.
You know, and we have a substantial northern Cross River population in ECOM. We have a substantial southern senatorial district population in ECOM. We have a strong Igbo community in Ikom, Yoruba, Kogi, and all those places. Ikom is like a melting pot.
Sure.
And I've heard this story that Ikom is PDP, and I laugh. I have been here for a few days, and we've been going from word to word. I don't believe that story is correct, but I don't want to take anything for granted.
What are they using to categorize Ikom as a PDP?
Because governorship candidate of the PDP lives here.
Okay.
And for them, that is sufficient to make Ikom PDP. I live in Ikom.
You live in Ikom as well?
And I'm from Ikom, and I'm not PDP. But we're not leaving anything to chance. The APC is not leaving anything to chance, because we know that the real electoral battle in Cross River will be in Ikom.
Okay.
And that is why I have relocated. I have been here, and I'm going to be here until we finish all the elections. And we are going to campaign as like we've never campaigned before.
Okay.
We have finished the word-to-word rallies yesterday with the grand finale in Ikom. We are taking our campaigns to the next level. We are meeting the stakeholders.
Okay.
We are going to engage the various stakeholders, the various communities, the Igbo communities, the Hausa communities, the Yoruba communities. We are going to engage all the stakeholders. And we are going to go into polling booths by polling booths campaign. And I have come with enough pairs of canvas shoes for the exercise. So at the end of the exercise, we'll just demonstrate that the story that Ikom is PDP is just fiction. It's not reality.
All right, so we've seen a lot of happening so far. So I want you to just comment briefly on the campaign trail itself. It's movement from the north to the south and to the central. We've seen the massive crowds. We've seen people come out to speak their minds. And of course, this is the first time I've seen primary rulers, traditional rulers, chiefs very, very outspoken and declaring this unflinching support for APC. Do you think that is because of the awareness or because of the choice of the candidate? Why do you think that we are having this level of cooperation and overwhelming support?
No, I think the overwhelming support is just to erase the distraction being caused by the candidate of the PDP. Okay. If the candidate of the PDP were from the south, I think that the narrative would have been different. Okay. But because he's from somewhere other than the south, people come out to say, no, this is not correct. Okay. So it's the mere fact of somebody whose turn it is not coming out that is now energizing people, paramount rulers, traditional rulers who ordinarily should not be seen to be political, but because they fear that the truth is being threatened, sure, come out in defense of the truth. That is all that is happening.
All right, that's interesting. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, so the program remains Cross River Decide. We are deciding on the political process in Cross River State, and of course, as it affects everyone. Politics, it's very, very crucial because the decisions that are taken by those who rule us change the narrative, affects everyone from top to bottom. That's why it's very important for everyone to be out here, for us to be able to elect the right leaders. And of course, the time is now. My name is Zakala, and I've been privileged to speak briefly with our leader, a critical stakeholder who has represented Cross River State at all levels, Senator Victor NDOMA, the former Senate leader. Thank you very much, sir. It's a privilege. I will keep letting you in on whatever is happening in the APC campaign train and everything that is happening in Cross River State politically. That is our role. My name is Zakala. I'll see you some other time with another thought-provoking edition. Bye-bye.